I didn't steal your Starbucks. That's the example I always use when I'm trying to teach my sales reps the importance of tonality. You see, changing your tone can completely change the meaning of a sentence, and I'll show you real quick. See, even with a simple sentence like this, we can completely change the meaning of what someone might hear just based on the words we emphasize in the sentence. Your friend bursts in the room, his Starbucks is missing. He says, "Hey, who took my Starbucks?" I simply look at him and I say, "Hey man, I didn't take your Starbucks. I didn't steal it." He's like, "Okay, cool. You didn't do it. Who did it?" Now, if I were to just emphasize the I in the sentence, he says, "Hey man, who took my Starbucks?" I say, "Well, I didn't steal your Starbucks." It kind of changes the meaning to sound like, hey, maybe I didn't do it, but I do know who did. Same thing if we're going to take that same scenario and all we did was emphasize the word steal. Now he bursts in the room and I'm like, "Hey man, I didn't steal your Starbucks." Now, what does that sound like? It sounds like, okay, maybe you didn't steal it, but it seems like you did do something to my Starbucks. Did you take a sip? Even if we were just to emphasize the word your, friend bursts in the room. He says, "Who stole it?" I say, "Hey man, I didn't steal your Starbucks, not yours." Now, emphasizing that word might completely change the sentence to sound like I stole someone's Starbucks. Maybe not yours, but someone's. And lastly, friends in the room, asking where Starbucks is. Starbucks missing. He doesn't know what happened. Asking everybody what's going on. Now, all I do is emphasize the word Starbucks and I say, "Hey man, it wasn't me. I didn't steal your Starbucks. You know, come on, I didn't steal your Starbucks." It might sound like maybe I stole something of his, wasn't his Starbucks, didn't steal his coffee, but it was something of his that I stole, and that's the kind of tone you're giving off when you emphasize that single word in the sentence. When you're talking to people, your tone makes up 38%, with 55% being the body language that you give off when you're actually saying the thing, and only 7% being the actual words you're saying. So when you're on the phone, when you're going door to door, when you're doing any kind of sales scenario with the prospect, are you using the right tone to get the correct message across? It's so much more than what you're saying. You can give the best script in the world to a person that has no control over their tone, and it will tank every time. Your tone, your emotion, everything that you put into it, your body language, that's what makes up the communication. That's what gets your point across. That's what makes it work. So make sure you're focusing on that tonality, mastering your script, and you're gonna make more sales.